දහසකට අධික වෛද්‍යවරු හමුවීමට නව ලෝක රෝහල. අමතන්න 0115
For the past 1 month and 11 days, the public have lived under restrictions due to the imposition of a quarantine curfew on the 20th of August. However, as of tomorrow, the public are set to be allowed some freedoms, with the curfew set to be lifted at 4 a.m. However, interprovincial travel restrictions will continue despite this until further notice. Although the COVID situation in the country is now largely under control, cases are still being reported close to 1,000 each day. Hence, this is the reason for continued limits on travel.
Lifting the restriction does not in any way mean that everything will be normal and we can move freely around the country just like we used to be before this pandemic. We have to take the responsibility into our hand even after the opening of the country, and every citizen in this country need to adhere to the health guideline to the best of their ability so that the risk of spreading the disease will be minimized. We all should determine not to travel outside the home unless it is essential for your own job or any business or any other essential item.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health today issued fresh guidelines on way activities will be allowed to function in the month of October. As per the media communique, people will be permitted to leave their residence for employment and for essential needs only. In contrast, some activities will continue to be restricted during the month. These include parties and private gatherings held both indoors and outdoors. Collective activities or gatherings at religious places are also restricted, while exhibitions and conventions will not be allowed. Further, tuition classes too will not commence. As for permitted activities, schools with student capacities of below 200 are set to reopen. What's more, daycare centres can reopen while preschools can operate at 50% capacities. Meanwhile, higher education centres including universities too will be allowed to operate with limited student numbers. The financial institutions including banks can remain open with minimum staff while allowing 5 customers at a time. Meanwhile, from tomorrow until the 15th of October, restaurants will not be allowed to open for in-house dining. Further, shops, groceries, pharmacies and supermarkets will be allowed to cater to only 10% of their customer capacity. As for weddings, only registration ceremonies will be allowed with a maximum participation of 10 guests until the 15th of next month. Funerals will continue to be conducted within 24 hours of the release of the remains and with only 10 members present. Meanwhile, gyms will be allowed to resume, however with only 5 customers allowed at a time as long as social distancing guidelines are followed. Further sports activities will not be allowed until the 15th of October. In the meantime, from the 16th to the 30th of October, restaurants will be allowed to open for in-house dining but at 30% capacity and not exceeding 50 people. A capacity of up to 60 people will be allowed in an outdoor environment. Further, consumption of alcohol is strictly prohibited on premises. From the 16th, weddings can take place, however with only 25% of premise capacity as long as it doesn't exceed 50 guests. Liquor, however, will not be allowed. Gymnasiums will be allowed to operate at 30% capacity up to a maximum of 10 customers. For more details on the guidelines, log on to www.AdaDerana.lk. In the meantime, several announcements were made pertaining to the resumption of services provided by state departments. State Minister of Bus Transport Services Dilu Mamanugama announced today that buses will operate for passengers tomorrow, but only within provinces for the next 14 days. Trains, however, will not operate during the next 2 weeks except for carrying goods. Meanwhile, the Department of Motor Traffic will also resume its activities at Verahara and Narayanpeta. The public will be required to make appointments in advance using hotline 0112 677 877. For inquiries on vehicle registrations, the department requests the public to contact the hotline 070 7677 877 and 070 7677 977 for inquiries on driving licenses. Further, the main office of the Department of Registration of Persons in Battaramulla will reopen for services from Monday the 4th of October.
පුංචිම දෙයකින් ලොකු වෙනසක්. සැෂේ වලට වඩා සන්සිල්ක් ලොකු බෝතලෙන් රුපියල් 20ක ඉතිරියක්.